With everything going on in the world right now, there are many people who are considering buying bulk food right now for the very first time. If you're one of those people and you want to know exactly what you should have on hand for your family's safety, as far as food and other bulk items that you should have available in your home right now, you're not going to want to miss this. With Living Quite Simply, and I'm really excited to share this video with you because in our family, at least, buying things for an inexpensive price is something that's really important. When we are buying our bulk food, we are intentionally not buying things that are labeled as some type of an emergency product. We aren't buying something that is in pre-made mixes and that type of a thing, because you are always going to spend more money for those things. When you're buying things that are advertised as for an emergency purpose, you're actually paying for fear. People are charging you a higher price because they understand that you're buying it because you're concerned about your family's future. And I mean, it's a great marketing strategy, but it's not going to be the most economical way. And likewise, when you're buying the food that's already pre-made, if you're buying like little like MRE or other type of products that are just kind of like add water and it's done, already seasoned, already ready to go, then when you're buying those foods, you're paying for somebody else's time and labor. Being prepared is something that's important to our family, as is simplifying our life generally. So if that's something that's important to you as well, make sure that you subscribe, because we would love to have you as part of our community. So I just want to give those disclaimers before I get into the 13 things that you want to make sure that you have on hand for your family. The first bulk food item you're going to want to have is grains. Depending on your family's preferences, that's really going to shape the type of grains that you're using. I will say in our family, we like to have oatmeal, we like to have wheat berries, and we like to have rice. Those are 3 grains that are very inexpensive and that we use on a regular basis. Another really inexpensive grain is millet. Quinoa is going to be something that's more expensive, so you're going to want to weigh the costs of each individual grain. If there were an emergency situation, you would appreciate the fact that you have worked some variability into your meals so that you're not eating the same thing every day. I want to give a couple tips in regards to buying grain in bulk. Number 1, when you're buying rice and your plan is to store that long term, make sure that you are buying white rice. For some reason, white rice can store for a much longer period than brown rice can. And second, when you're buying wheat to store, please try to buy the wheat berries rather than the wheat like flour as we're used to buying it. When you buy the wheat berries in their whole form, those are going to last a much longer period than flour is in storage. So buy white rice, buy wheat berries, and you will be able to store those for a much more extended period. The second thing you're going to want to buy is beans. Beans are invaluable. Now, I didn't stress this about the grains, but something that I love about grains, and I especially love about beans because I feel like it's much more visible in the beans, is that when you add water to grains, when you add water to beans, they expand. It is really amazing to me just how much they are absorbing the water and expanding each time that I make them. And having beans as part of your bulk food storage is going to give you a great source of protein. Now again, just like in the grains, you're going to want a variety in your beans. Our family has black beans and pinto beans, lentils, and garbanzo beans because those are our favorite beans. But you could buy kidney beans, navy beans, any number of beans, whatever happens to be the beans that your family enjoys. An additional source of protein, number 3, is going to be your nuts and your seeds. Peanuts are a very inexpensive nut, and though they may not be the most nutritious nut when compared to all the other nuts, because they are such an inexpensive nut, that is something that our family likes to buy in bulk. We also really enjoy peanut butter. And then as far as the seeds, we buy flaxseed and we buy sesame seed in bulk. But of course, this is again based on your family's preferences. If you're getting any value from this video, make sure you hit the like button. The 4th bulk food item that you're going to want to make sure that you have is oil. Oil is something that's going to be important as you are preparing your food, to have that in bulk. That's something that can sometimes be overlooked as people are preparing their bulk food. Our family prefers to buy our regular cooking oil in a big jug. You end up saving a lot of money in the long run. Number 5 is sweetener. Now, as far as sweetener, we like to have both honey and cane sugar on hand. To have honey on hand because it's something that can also be used as a natural remedy, but it is more expensive than is the cane sugar. Number 6 is Leaveners. Make sure that you have leaveners on hand. If you are in a situation you're unable to go shopping for whatever reason, and you're able to make pancakes, and you're able to make breads, and you're able to make muffins and things, it just gives life a little bit more sense of normalcy, and it makes the food more enjoyable. So we make sure that we have baking powder and that we have yeast in good quantities. The next thing is salt and seasonings. You're not going to want to run out of these. Actually, we have a friend who was sharing a story with us about how when they were getting out of debt, they bought a certain amount of beans, a certain amount of rice, and a certain amount of salt. And they had determined that they would get out of debt eating just these things and whatever they grew from their garden. Well, it took them a number of months, and over the time, they were eating the rice and beans and salt every day. That's literally all they were eating besides whatever they could pick from their garden. And eventually, they ran out of rice. And they were so determined to get out of debt that they didn't buy more rice. And so they were just eating beans with salt. And eventually they ran out of salt. These people were so determined to get out of debt that they were just eating saltless beans. Now, not everybody would find themselves in a situation like that, because not everybody would be that extreme about getting out of debt. But we could be in a situation where we don't choose not to go to the store, not to go and buy things. And so we want to make sure that we have salt on hand in case we're ever in a situation where we're just stuck with beans and rice and salt. Number 8 is seeds. These are seeds for planting. You're going to want to make sure that you have bulk seeds on hand, not just for planting a garden, but also in the home. You can grow microgreens and you can grow sprouts right on your counter. And it is such a rewarding experience just eating small amounts of those foods. You can get a ton of nutrition. So you want to make sure that you have a lot of seeds on hand so that you can grow those things inside, and preferably that you also have seeds that you can grow outside. Number 9 is canned goods. Now this could be things that you're canning yourself, or if you're using canned food from the store. Now, getting out of food supplies, number 10 is bulk medical supplies. And I think it's really important to have on hand a extensive home medical kit. And not just, for scrapes and those type of things, but to have a medical kit for natural remedies and that type of a thing. Having honey, having cayenne pepper, having ginger and garlic, and elderberry syrup, and these type of things can be really beneficial to have. Number 11 is home cleaners. Whatever supplies that you're regularly using to clean your home, make sure that you have a good amount in your storage at any given time. When you have a good supply of these things, then when you go to open the next bottle, you can make sure that you replenish that by adding a new bottle to your stock. Number 12 is hygiene products. Any type of hygiene products, toothbrushes, toothpaste, deodorants, feminine hygiene products, any type of hygiene products, you're going to want to make sure that you have enough on hand to last you for however long you're preparing for. Now, we all saw at the start of coronavirus how quickly the toilet paper disappeared from the stores. That's a hygiene product. And I do highly recommend switching from consumable hygiene products and consumable anything to non-consumables as much as it is realistic for our life. And even if we're not willing to make those lifestyle changes now, having backups. So if a time comes when we're unable to buy the common consumables that we are using, having a backup non-consumable is going to be invaluable, because either that or you're left without and you need to scrounge around and try to figure out something. And 13, lastly, something that you're going to want to make sure that you have in bulk are books. Books that have skills. Books about seed saving, books about gardening, books about naturopathic remedies. Having medical books on hand is going to be helpful as well. If we're in a situation and Chop Chaz enters our neighborhood, and we're unable to seek medical help. We need to be in a situation where we are prepared and we understand what to do. We have the supplies and we have the knowledge to do those things. The number of reference books that you have in your home library can be as extensive as you want it to be. And going off topic a little bit, because I know that we're talking about things that you want to have stored aside, but we want to make sure that we are acquiring skills as we have the ability to do that. So, you know, in talking about homeopathic remedy and having some type of ability to manage, you know, a crisis medical situation in our home if need be, acquire the skills for those things as you are able. My husband had an opportunity to take a suturing class at one point as we were at a preparedness rally. Take advantage of these things, learn gardening, learn these skills now. You are going to be so thankful that you have them if a crisis comes and you need those skills. And finally, I just want to say, buy a little each week. As you're preparing, as you're building up your bulk food supply, just buy what you're able to. So often we can fall into the trap of having an all or nothing mentality, and because we can't afford to buy all these things right now, we just choose to buy nothing. So really just buy what you're able to right now and continue building on that. Friends, I hope you find this helpful, and until next time, bye!